see if these are good enough.
Mind if I open the door in here? It's a little stuffy.
You can open a few of them.
Sri Radha Giridhari ki, Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Samaveda Bhakti ki jai. Gaur Jayo Vishnupar Paramahamsa Parivrajika Jaja Srimad is divine grace. Vaicharanara Vinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Samveda Bhakti ki jai. Gaur Devanandi. All glories to the Son of the devotees. All glories to the Son of the devotees. All glories to the Son of the devotees. All glories, all glories. Sri Sri Guru Sri Guru. So we'll have a special guest today. We usually don't see on Tuesday, Pancake Raj.
Who is it?
Pancake Raj.
Pancake Raj.
Just ignore it.
In the kitchen cooking, but it's coming to class today. This is very nice. So this morning we're reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, starting at chapter 2 of the 4th canto. This is Daksha curses Lord Shiva. Not recommended to do. Okay. Every good book, a wisdom book I should say, wisdom literature, there's two kinds of stories you'll find in every wisdom literature. Stories about people who did the right thing and stories of people who did the wrong thing, and both are equally important for us to study and understand. And make sure we emulate the right person though. They're in there, but we're supposed to learn what to do and what not to do. So you'll see in the pages of the Bhagavatam, there's quite a few examples of persons who did the really wrong thing. So why is it in there? So we can learn a lesson, what to watch out for in the beginning of such a chapter. Okay, Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritam Naram Shaivam Varotamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Japate Shira Prabhupada ki jai. Text 1. Viduruvacha Bhave Shilavatam Sreshte Yaksho Dhritir Vatsalaha Vidvesham Akarut Kashmad Anadrityatmajam Satim Viduruvacha Bhave Shilavatam Sreshte Daksho Duhitir Vatsalaha Vidvesham Akarut Kasmad Anadrityatmajam Satim Viduruvacha Bhave Shilavatam Sreshte Daksho Duhitir Vatsalaha Vidvesham Akarut Kasmad Anadrityatmajam Satim
Viduruvacha Bhave Shilavatam Sreshte Daksho Duhitra Vatsalaha Vidvesham Akarut Kasmad Anadrityatmajam Satim Viduruvacha Bhave Shilavatam Sreshte Daksho Duhitra Vatsalaha Vidvesham Akarut Kasmad Anadrityatmajam Satim Viduruvacha
Shivavitam Shreshte
Bhaveshinatam Shreshte
Shodi Hitrivatsavaha
Daksho Hitrivatsavaha
Vidvesham Akavod Kasmad
Vidvesham Akavod Kasmad
Nadrityatmajam Satim
Nadrityatmajam Satim
Vidurvacha
Vidurvacha
Bhaveshilavatam Shreshte
Bhaveshinatam Shreshte
Daksho Hitrivatsavaha
Daksho Hitrivatsavaha
Vidvesham Akarot Kasmad
Vidvesham Akavod Kasmad
Anadrityatmajam Satim
Anadrityatmajam Satim.
Anyone else? Did you chant? Are you chanting? Are you going to chant or you sing?
Vidurvacha
Vidurvacha
Bhaveshilavatam Shreshte
Bhaveshinatam Shreshte
Daksho Duitirvatsalaha
Daksho Duitirvatsalaha
Vidvesham Akarot Kasmad
Vidvesham Akavod Kasmad
Anadrityatma Jam Satim
Anadrityatmajam Satim.
Synonyms. Vidurvacha. Vidura said. Bhave. Towards Lord Shiva.
Towards Lord Shiva.
Shilavatam. Among the gentle.
Among the gentle.
Sreshte. The best. Daksha. Daksha. Duhitri Vatsalaha. Being affectionate towards his daughter.
Being affectionate towards his daughter.
Vidvesham.
Vidvesham.
Enmity.
Enmity.
Akarot.
Akarot.
Did exhibit.
Kasmad.
Why?
Why?
Anadritya. Neglecting. Atmajam. His own daughter. Satim. Sati. Translation and purport. Vidura inquired, why was Daksha, who was so affectionate towards his daughter, envious of Lord Shiva, who is the best among the gentle? Why did he neglect his daughter Sati? Please repeat. Vidura inquired, why was Daksha, who was so affectionate towards his daughter, envious of Lord Shiva, who is the best among the gentle? Why did he neglect his daughter Sati? In the second chapter of the fourth canto, the cause of the dissension between Lord Shiva and Daksha, which was due to a great sacrifice arranged by Daksha for the pacification of the entire universe, is explained. Lord Shiva is described here as the best of the gentle because he is not envious of anyone. He is equal to all living entities, and all other good qualities are present in his personality. The word Shiva means all auspicious. No one can be an enemy of Lord Shiva's, for he is so peaceful and renounced that he does not even construct a house for his residence, but lives underneath a tree, always detached from all worldly things. The personality of Lord Shiva symbolizes the best of gentleness. Why then was Daksha, who offered his beloved daughter to such a gentle personality, inimical towards Lord Shiva, so intensely that Sati, the daughter of Daksha and wife of Lord Shiva, gave up her body? Om Agyanatimirandasya Gananjana Samakaya Chaksuranminitam Dina Taijmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakti Varinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Vanchakalpatarupascha Kripa Sindhu Devacha Varidanam Bhavanidhu Vaishnavindhu Namaha. So I can take your permission. I hope you're getting a good class.
Yeah.
Okay. So Vidura inquired, why was Daksha, who is so affectionate towards his daughter, envious of Lord Shiva, who is the best among the gentle? Why did he neglect his daughter Sati? So, and I've heard in psychology there's an expression called the elephant in the room. You ever hear that one? You know that one? The elephant in the room? You know what that refers to, Damodar? You hear that expression? Janard, have you heard that expression? There's an elephant in the room?
I've heard it.
Okay, Balaram, what does that mean? There's an elephant in the room when you're talking about problems people have.
Well, it means there's a big problem.
Like an elephant.
Yeah, like an elephant, but
In the room.
in the room, but everybody's avoiding it.
Right, pretending it's not there.
And it's not there.
Okay. So what we're going to be discussing here, this word vidvesham, enmity, and hostility, enmity towards others. That's like one of the big elephants in the room. Why we're in this material world. And, there are natural enemies. Zach, can you tell us an example, whether in human society or other societies, natural enemies that you'd expect some enmity?
Like a tiger in the forest or something.
And
Wants to eat you.
another tiger, two tigers, right? They don't get along or something, right? There's natural enemies
Oh,
between species, between like that, or just the Republicans and the Democrats, or natural enemies, or the North and the South, or this and that, right? You'd expect, but what's coming out in this story is that those who would not expect there to be any enmity, all of a sudden there's this enmity is so great that it caused such a catastrophe on all levels. So just showing how enmity can become just like a blazing forest fire and just destroy everything. So it's something to watch out for, like an elephant in the room, right? Just think about an elephant in class right now. Everyone be kind of careful. I remember I was on a Padayatra in India in the 80s, and we were in Karnataka, and of course the elephant was there in front, and there was this one like nice stream, river, small river, all bathing, and the elephant was bathing also, and the caretaker was coming out on top of the elephant, splashing side to side, getting washed up and coming out. We were all sitting on this little sandy embankment, and all of a sudden he was yelling, "Get out of the way, get out of the way." Obviously it wasn't in English, but we know what he was talking about. And it was explained to us the elephant could care less. He's just going to walk right on top of you. Boom, boom, boom. You don't really sit there when an elephant comes out of the water right towards you, right? Because he can crush you. So they're dangerous. They can be very dangerous, even if they don't even, they're not angry or anything like that. Just by their size and their movements, they can create a lot of havoc. So, in fact, what is it called? Hatimata.
Yeah.
What's Hatimata offense?
Offending great.
Mad elephant offense. And what is that?
Offending devotees.
Offending devotees. So that's what we're talking about here. Daksha was envious of Lord Shiva, who's the best amongst the gentle. And this we talk a little bit about that. It's quite a wonderful understanding of what it means to be gentle. Shila Bhatam, because Shila means gentle, right? It means gentle. And what does that mean? Does it mean you're just kind of like a mild kind of a person? There's a lot of mellow people out there, right? Here in Southern California, you meet mellow people sometimes. But what does it really mean to be Shrestha, the best of the gentle? It's described here. He's the best of the gentle because he's not envious of anyone. He's equal to all living entities, and all of the good qualities are present in his personality. So he's quite gentle. And what it says here, he's so peaceful and renounced that he doesn't even construct a house for his residence. It's not that he's lazy, but he's just so peaceful in himself and renounced from any type of, it says here, detached from all worldly things, not envious of anyone, equal to all living entities. The reservoir of all good qualities, therefore he's known as Shiva, which means all auspicious. So contrast that to your ordinary person. How can they be gentle? One can't be gentle or peaceful if one's heart is filled with all kinds of material desires. And of course what's described here is that as soon as the heart is filled with material desires, one becomes envious of other living entities. Why? Because they have something you don't have, right? They have something we don't have, and they may have more than we have, and therefore we feel inferior. And that is very upsetting. And then we become critical. On a very soft side, Prabhu gives the example that in this one village, two gentlemen were talking about a young boy that had grown up. Now in his childhood he was a fool. In his childhood he was a foolish kid, just goofball. You ever heard that expression before, goofball? You ever know any goofballs in your life? right? Goofball.
You want every
I
class?
don't, they don't even say that anymore. That antiquity, they use it, it's a good one. It's got some longevity, huh? So a goofball. So anyways, one of the villager men says, the other, he says, so Kumar grew up, now he's a high court judge. And the man says, no, that's impossible. He was such a goofball. How do you say goofball in Bengali or Hindi? Is there a way? Murk? Fool.
It's
Okay.
fool.
Oh, he's such a fool. Murka. He's such a fool, huh? No. He said, no, he's a high court judge in Calcutta. Kolkata, he's a high court judge. He said, no, I can't believe it. He said, yes, he is. He says, well, if he is, the other gentleman says, well, if he is, he must not be getting any salary. So he couldn't accept it. Even he accepted, he said, well, he must not get any salary. He's envious. How could he be a judge? And then I'm just a little bit, how can he go to be a judge? So you become envious of others. They have something you don't have. They have some kind of facility or opulence or something. And it bothers us. Why? Because we want to enjoy, we want to be number one. As the Krishna says, it explains the mentality in the 16th chapter of the Gita. Ishwaroham ham bhogi. I'm the controller. I'm perfect, powerful, and happy. That's the mentality. As long as that mentality is there, we're going to be envious of other living entities. And that mentality, when applied to those who we should not be envious, we shouldn't be envious of anyone. But when you apply it to saintly persons, then all kinds of havoc unfolds. And that's what's being described here. So I guess we could say it's a story about the Hatimata offense, the mad elephant offense. And Vidura is sincerely inquiring, how is it possible that Daksha, he gave his daughter, what's more dear to a father than his daughter? He gave one of his daughters to Lord Shiva. Now in those days, you had to have your father's permission, right? It wasn't a thing, nowadays, my daughter married a bum, right? Right? It's like my mother, my sister. Well, her first husband tried to kill her. Her second husband left her, and now she's living with some guy who's a bum. But none of those, they got permission from my parents to marry. But the point is, like, nowadays you just go get married, right? Tell your parents afterwards, invite them to the wedding, maybe introduce them. But this idea of I will ask permission. If I don't get permission from my father, I will not marry this person. You don't see that in the West, right? It's like, tough luck. If you don't like my spouse, too bad, right? But that's not here. You can be absolutely sure that Daksha, he gave his permission, right? Did he? Did he give his permission? He must have, right? So how is it he gave his permission? His son-in-law, his own son-in-law, who turns out to be very powerful personality, but a very Vaishnava such a gentle, wonderful, saintly person. Not just a person, he's Lord Shiva, God. And now he's envious. To such an extent that it turned out his daughter killed herself over the whole thing. So what a catastrophe. You wouldn't expect something like this. And we'll read about that whole assembly where the Brahmins are counter-cursing and counter-cursing, and turns a Jagyashala, which is supposed to be a very peaceful place for worshiping the Lord, turns into a massacre. Right? People getting killed and hurt, and Brahmins and all that is unbelievable. Overrun by some. How did this all happen? That's what Vidura was saying. How is it possible? Something like, because Daksha is not an ordinary person. He's not like some lowlife or something. He's a very powerful Prajapati. What does Daksha mean? You know that? Daksha? Because you're Daksha when it comes to the laundry there. Expert. He was expert. And what was his expertise? Do you know?
Yeah, having children.
Having children. But he's raising family, increasing the population of the universe, like that. So, but he had a very powerful personality. He's performing a jaggi here for the peace of the whole universe. Not a bad thing. I mean, he was, So how is such a person like that overcome by enmity towards such a saintly personality? It's a big question. How does it happen? And now Krishna explains in the Bhagavad Gita, and it was brought up in just class the other day, I think maybe in the conversations after class, that even a person of intelligence who's trying to control the senses If the mind fixes on just one sense object, it can carry away a man's intelligence, even someone who's endeavoring to control the senses. So these qualities are there within the heart of the conditioned soul to various degrees, and they can get out of hand. They can get out of hand. So one has to be very, very, very careful. But we see all of these negative materialistic qualities, their presence is in proportion to our desire to enjoy in this material world. That's how you gauge it. When one has really no desire to enjoy in this material world, you won't see these qualities there. They come along as part of the package. You know, just like they bundle stuff when they're marketing like that. You bundle a few things, right? Oh, you want to get internet? We'll bundle it with a phone and what do you call it? Cable TV. It's a bundle. You get it all together, right? Or sometimes you go to the store and they bundle your shampoo, your conditioner, and something else, all shrink wrapped together. It's a bundle. One comes with the other. So the desire to enjoy this material world, well, guess what you get as part of the bundle? Because you get all these negative qualities. They just come with it. They just automatically come with it. So the reducing the fever of trying to enjoy this material world, all these qualities will go away. So if we feel ourselves being harassed by the enemies in the form of these negative qualities, it's because the desire to enjoy the material world is also increasing. Interesting phenomena, huh? Interesting phenomena. But that's what it's all about. That's why it's described here. On the other side, Lord Shiva, very, very gentle soul. Gentle means not disturbed by one's mind and senses. Wouldn't that be a wonderful place to live? A place where your mind and senses don't bother you anymore. Right? Some people think that's all. Let's get intoxicated. Right? That's what they're thinking. I'll get intoxicated, my mind and senses won't bother me anymore. Well, it's a temporary fix. And many times people get intoxicated and their mind and senses bother them even more. Right? There's all kinds of problems. So, but the gentle soul is different. His mind and senses just... Now, how is that possible? Because Pramdishtva Navartate. What does that mean? Pramdishtva Navartate. It's right from the Bhagavad Gita. It's about a higher taste, you know the verse about a higher taste? By ceasing such engagements and experiencing a higher taste, one's no longer attracted. So one has the higher taste. One has the higher taste of the spiritual consciousness. And therefore one is very, very peaceful. One is renounced. One is detached. All of these things. What is that? Jnana vairagya yuktaya. One's equipped. One's equipped with knowledge and renunciation. These are symptoms of someone who's advancing in spiritual life. So that's a symptom of someone who's very, very advanced. And therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Trinadapi sunichena tororiva suhishnana manida manitena kirtanaya sadahari. That one should be more humble than a blade of grass. So now that's more tall than a tree. So that's right in here. One's envious. One's not more humble than a blade of grass. One's thinking, I'm the most important person. Right? I'm the most important person. I might have mentioned this before. Sometimes I mention it in pujas. I heard this a few years ago. The person's advice was to treat everyone you meet as the most important person in the world. Some advice. He said, you do that for two reasons. The first one is they already think they are. Right? So you might as well treat them that way. The second one is, why not? You go a lot farther just treating people. But treat everyone you meet as the most important person in the world because they already think they are. We all do. Right? If you were to journal what we think about all day long, and the first thing being I, me, and mine, that would probably be the first three categories. And then there's some other things underneath that. Everything revolves around ourselves. That's our consciousness. Even that Atmavan Manyate Jagat. We see the whole world in relation to ourselves. That's the consciousness. And that's why it's called psychological atheism. You hear that before? There's philosophical atheism and there's psychological atheism. Psychological atheism is, now who actually is the center of everything? Yes?
Krishna.
Krishna. So, but if I think I'm the center of everything, that's called psychological atheism. Somehow or other, we move Krishna over here, and I'm the center. Center means I think about myself and what I'm doing and my problems all day long. That's called psychological atheism. Now, a pure devotee is just thinking about Krishna, serving Krishna, and just Krishna, 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 Krishna. It's quite interesting, isn't it? So, but this Trunadapi Sunichena, being more humble than a blade of grass, more tolerant than a tree, because there will always be problems in this material world. Always problems. Always people who are envious of us, who don't like us. There'll always be challenges, but one's very, very, very tolerant and very, very kind. That tolerance of a tree is also considered in this way, that a tree stands there and gives others shade, gives others fruit, and all kinds of things. Even if one is harassing the tree, taking its wood for fire, this or that, or carving their name in it, or dogs sometimes come and leave their signature on a tree. But the tree just stands there giving shade to everyone. And one is amanina manadena. One is offering all respect to others and not expecting any type of glorification for oneself. That's a very, very elevated platform of divinity, and that's where Lord Shiva is at. And that's why he's always Kirtaniya Sadhari, he's always chanting the name of Krishna, of Narayan. So, and why is it Daksha would vent his enmity on such a person? So that's going to come out in the story. It's like, well, how is that possible? And we see that in many different, and I'm sure it will come out in the different classes, the devotees will reference other stories. How somehow or other, different personalities, even those in the garb of devotees, manifested this devastating quality of enmity and hostility towards those who one should not be aiming at. One should never manifest these kinds of things. So, I guess in our own lives we should see that if we're feeling any kinds of enmity, do you ever feel enmity towards anyone? I was wondering about Mukund. He's such a nice, gentle soul. Maybe he just can't relate to this class. I don't know. But it's there, right? Sometimes you get a little sensation of, that Prabhu has a nicer devotee than I do. Or this, how come he got 6 pancakes and I only got, how come he got 20 pancakes and I only got 6? Or something like that for breakfast, or whatever it is. Or how come they glorified him and didn't glorify me? I was the one who did this or that. And sometimes someone gets glorified for something you did. I need to set this straight. I was the one who stayed up all night long cleaning the pots in the kitchen, right, Dr. Zach? And therefore I'm falling asleep walking around Tulsi in the morning. I'm the one. They should recognize me. So these things come out, but the point is we can see if one is just, if Krishna's in the center. And I'll finish with this. There's a very nice point that Gurijan makes in his Japa book. That he said we all have to come to the point of recognizing the fact that we are actually insignificant, tiny servants of Krishna. And anything beyond that, we're an illusion. And it's a hard pill to swallow, he's saying. It's a very hard pill to swallow, that we are infinitesimal. What does infinitesimal mean? You need a microscope to see it, right? Insignificant, just like so small, insignificant, infinitesimal, eternal servants of Krishna. And if we're thinking something else, we're going to be subjected to all these negative characteristics. Like that. That's why even the impersonalists, they're in Maya. Therefore they're called Mayavadis, because they're thinking I'm God. Right? They don't think I am any insignificant eternal servant of the Lord. I am the Lord. I am Brahman. Like that. So, one devotee was saying in the class that talking about the front door of the temple. He said it's very easy to walk in. He said, but if our egos could actually manifest, we would never be able to fit through the front door because our egos are so big. And we never get in. If, they actually were more than subtle energy. We never be able to get to the door because our egos are gigantic. So we have to cultivate that understanding. That's the reality we are cultivating. Das das anadas, like that. Eternal servant of Krishna. So we can end here. I'm sure there could be a little bit of discussion if you like. on this point. Yes, Balaram.
Yeah, you're talking about enmity and envy and these different things and how they could come up. So I just have a question about that.
Like in the idea of Vaishnava etiquette, I mean, in many ways it's quite a basic, simple thing to understand. But because we may misunderstand it because we want to misunderstand it to suit our own type of moods, we may kind of like a bit, like for example, someone would say, "Oh, I'm a senior devotee, so you have to do this because I'm senior to you." In other words, we're abusing the etiquette. Because senior means the most humble, actually. So a real senior means the most humble. But anyways, it's a whole bunch. So yeah, it's very, in many ways, very basic to understand. But in relation to this idea of etiquette with juniors, seniors, equals, all this type of stuff. Someone who's equal, more or less, and that means sometimes they're like, "Oh, I joined 2 days before you. I'm senior to you," or even a few months. I joined a few months before you. I'm so much senior to you.
I joined in the morning. You came in the afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, if someone's more or less the same age, more or less initiated around the same time, they're more or less equals. So, without splitting hairs, for people who are more or less equal, this idea of if they see a defect or they see, you could say, something that needs to be corrected in the person, they want to help the person. Of course, maybe mixed up or whatever with other things, but let's say they want to help the person. And then somebody says, hey, you're not really my senior. Why are you trying to correct me? This isn't proper. But, I mean, as far as I understand it, equals they can, help each other, correct each other. And, they have discussions and in a nice way, like, hey, why are you doing this? I don't know if that's the best thing you should do. And they discuss. That's as far as I understand, right? So, I guess the question is maybe you could just kind of explain more of that idea of equals, more or less equals, correcting each other, helping each other in a Krishna conscious way, based on communication, not just saying, "Oh, hey, you're not senior to me, back off. I'm only corrected by it." Because it goes. Does that make sense? Or?
Yes. Well, I think the bottom, the real point to discuss is the mood in which this is all coming from. The mood of the devotee who's trying to give instruction, the mood of the devotee who should be receiving instruction. Because let's say something actually is wrong. One is doing something categorically offensive or detrimental to the devotional service. All devotees should be searching out who can help me become a better devotee. Who can help me become? Can you help me? We should go to every single devotee. Can you help me? Every morning, go to every single devotee in the ashram. Can you help me become a better devotee today? If we have that mentality, then someone says yes, and then those who are giving instruction are thinking, I have no qualification whatsoever, but I do not want Krishna offended. I don't want Srila Prabhupada offended. I have a duty. So if it's coming from the right space, right? Because also neglect is a type of hurting others. If you don't say anything, right? Someone's doing something wrong. You don't say anything. That's enmity also, because you really should be helping someone in their devotional service. So I think it's all a matter of. A lot would be a lot easier if we all had the right mentality about always wanting to advance. The real thing is we all want to advance very nicely in Krishna consciousness and protecting our false ego, and that's not as important as wanting to advance in devotional service. And instructions would be taken much easier and much easier to give. And what would you call it? An actual loving atmosphere, that everyone's just trying to help each other. And in such an atmosphere, probably it would be less instruction given because people would be more conscientious about their own actions. They'd actually be thinking, what is right, what is proper, what is the best, how can I be a better devotee today than I was yesterday? What did I do yesterday which I couldn't improve on today? Everyone's always thinking, how could I be a better devotee? Boy, things are going so smooth, right? how smooth it would go for those giving and those receiving. You know, if you want to help someone, let's say Mukunda falls off Crystal Pier. Plum says, I'm going to come in and help you. No, you're not. You're not my superior. Okay, I'll go back to the temple and find Dravida, and you're drowned by the time I get Dravida. You know, it's like, come on.
I don't swim much.
And he doesn't swim, so Dravida's got to go find Maharaj. Maharaj, I don't think is going to help you. He'll come out there with his cane, whack you on the head or something. He used to be a surfer. Maybe he'll get out there on the surfboard, hit you with his cane and say, get in here. So, I mean, you know, devotees should be so humble. What is that verse about taking instruction from... They're taking a wife from a gold from a dirty place and instruction from anyone. The Janaka Pandit. Why not? Right? Someone comes in and says, just, you know, let's talk about that. Prabhu's in Canada. Or somewhere, and there was someone heckling. No, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta. There's someone lecture he was giving, and this guy was heckling Srila Bhaktisiddhanta. I know it's Bengali. Just heckling like anything. And he tolerated it. You know, and the devotees, all the sannyasi disciples, all were ready to wring the guy's neck and so on. But he was heckling. And then what happened was, there was some news after a week that that person had died. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta was actually emotionally affected by it. And they're thinking, why is Maharaj affected? This man was just stood up and it was like venom, just like... He said, you know, such a person was keeping me humble. That's what he said. He was keeping me humble. So we can take good instruction even for someone who's yelling and screaming at us out of envy. So if a god brother or sister or whatever wants to say Prabhu, you know, and points out something that's correct, so we should probably take it. Like that. And even if it doesn't seem to be so correct, take it anyways. Why not humble up a bit, you know? Like that. Just be a little humble. Do you think we've done anything over the last decades or lifetimes or millenniums that we deserve a little bit of chastisement? Do you think we've done anything that maybe for millions of lifetimes we could probably get a little sauce, maybe just a little bit, like, hey Prabhu, you know, we got a lot of sauce coming our way. We got a vat of it. We got gallons and gallons and gallons of sauce coming our way. So why not just take it? Because we need it. We deserve it. Like that. So that's another thing. This is just a pinch of what I need to be a better devotee. Just take it. And thank them. Thank you so much for yelling at me, Prabhu. I really needed that. Thank you so much. I feel much more humble now. So we'll end here. All glories to children. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's good. I'm just saying I was just joking. It's going to open up the floodgates. Everybody's...
What? Yell at each other?
Yeah.
Oh, well, as long as they say thank you, I needed that. I needed that.
You just kind of feel sorry for
As I looked up, okay, why?
that guy that was in the audience heckling Bhaktisiddhanta. Because he left his body, and it's like, we were just speaking about the 9-elephant offense, and that's what that
Okay, well, I was
is.
first thinking, why not discipleship?
So sad.
I said, well...
Because leave that to Krishna, but like you said, but for us, that was the proper mentality. Such a humble mentality.
Shankaracharya's disciple.
He was actually emotionally hurt, you know, felt for the person. No, he was just...
There are two
keeping me
meetings.
humble.
It's like our basic meeting that we have.
What do you think he was saying? He was just preaching about Krishna. And this person found fault. He was thinking, he's keeping me humble. That's why going in SanDiego, you go out preaching and people get on your case. They don't think you're worth time of day. No one likes to be insulted like that, right? Can I give you the time of day?
Yeah. It's funny because, you know, we don't say...
And sometimes it tells you what you've done.
Yeah.
You've offended this person.
And what that does...
There's some correction.
Always a lesson in all anything.
Say that again?
Always a lesson.
Yeah.
A good one.
Well, and there's, I mean, that's the thing. You go through a day without learning anything, you've wasted a day, and you've probably offended a lot of people.
Many people who go from your disciple or...
No, they're making disciples of it.
Okay, come on, yell at me. Somebody yell at me.
Then the way it's done in English, one of the ways is to
I was gonna say, follow him, you need to get married. This whole thing about,
So,
correcting each other, wait till you get married.
That's
The wife, the husband,
That's what they do.
brahmachari life, I'm sure you gotta get it easy.
So our brother.
Get married, you're real humble. Especially that.
It's no longer just about you, it's now you have
Yeah, exactly, that's exactly what it is.
The
The whole life is just about us, you gotta think about everyone else, and you gotta take
It's an
it's part of growing up.
It's like brothers.
Well, and it draws back to your whole beginning, which is the material
We
desire.
don't say I'm the devotee of Krishna.
We're caught up in that material desire. And a lot of people see their spouse as material. They don't recognize it as a person. I want that thing, that trophy wife. They don't acknowledge that trophy wife has a heart and soul.
As a person.
Yeah, to be referred to as an item, you may not necessarily like that.
No one does. Let me help you with this.
So constantly using this,
I'll try to go towards you, towards me.
and especially when you have Krishna, the servant of the Lord, it's almost like one word. Wins to say, servant of the Lord. Which was you the devotee of? So, but in ordinary parlance, when you and me talk about other stuff, then that's the correct
Just like this?
locution. When you have one of many.
What they expect is like, Hare Krishna, they got these.
So then in this case, when it says, no one can be an enemy of Lord Shiva's, that's zero.
There's a lot of ego mall here and there.
Lord Shiva's, why is that? No one can be an enemy of Lord Shiva.
Well, you're making an enemy rather than enemy yourself.
It's kind of motivates us too. a little bit.
Oh, it is purple.
No one can be an enemy of Lord Shiva's. Why not no one can be an enemy of Lord Shiva?
Oh,
Because it's zero. It's zero enemies of Lord Shiva.
You know, why not just say Shiva
They
instead of
hurry
Shiva?
down there on Saturday or something?
Plus you have the kind
It's
of.
like bhajan,
thing
so
going on.
you have to get a
You should
permit.
try to avoid a pronoun, which is
Isn't that they used to have, they had sites, spots, you had to like have a
referring back to a
That's
possessive
the
form.
whole thing, so many people would be up, you had a week.
That's one of the things that,
Bands, you had to, like,
it's kind of an old-fashioned rule now,
spot.
that you'll find it in the books if you try to adhere to.
Free to do it.
So he really can't, strictly speaking, refer back to shoes.
Okay.
It should be.
So that affects us?
I would, no one can.
Are you kidding, both of those
So it'd
Bengalis?
probably be something like Lord Shiva, not Lord
Just,
Shiva.
I don't come to it.
Why you have a special meeting?
Here I am.
Yeah.
No dairy,
Yeah.
no lectins.
But, lectin is, I don't know if I put that in there, I got a case when I put it in. He
Yeah,
like he was.
Lectin is like gluten. It's a type of, I want to say it's a type of sugar.
Yeah.
It is something, it's a chemical compound that is naturally occurring in foods like meat.
And he may have.
And it kind of goes along the lines of,
That I think this is the case where more like the devotee of Lord Krishna.
I've been eating a lot of meat. I've also recently found
But
out what the heck is actually going on here, and I'm not eating that crap anymore.
You could, it's not strictly wrong,
Not eating
but it's kind of borderline
substitute.
that thing of like, devotee of God. I'm a lover of God. I'm not a lover of gods.
I was eating
God is so huge and I'm so small.
I was eating ground beef and
What kind of obligations in
obligations,
this case?
if it's not what it's advertised to be.
I mean, it is kind of peculiar thing. You wouldn't ordinarily see that.
So,
I would, let me,
rice,
I'm going to check, this is in the purple.
some
right?
potatoes,
I'm going to check the original.
low sugar, a lot of fat.
I was also wondering because Mata, that
But
Haki Mata, I haven't heard of that before.
I think it's time to
Monte,
switch back
long
out of
T, long
ketosis
N.
and
In
go
Bengali,
back
that meant
to normal
madness.
life where I can eat sugar.
But I've never seen that in Sanskrit.
Yesterday I
In
ate
Sanskrit, can Mata...
quinoa brown
Right.
rice.
They usually mean mother.
Yeah, I've only seen this
And
mother. But can Mata also...
last night at like 9 o'clock,
I did have to ask our Bengali guy. I mean, he also.
I must have been 102.
Also, Mad Elephant, they're saying angry
Sweating
or
everywhere, like drenched in sweat.
I think about the same.
I was always mad.
Mad be hot and the next month,
Crazy.
yeah,
Not
all
like
of a sudden
angry.
chill where I get goosebumps.
Well, that goes there too. I mean, it's crazy mad. But I mean, the main thing, particularly crazy, is that.
Okay.
And I think
So
part of
Mata
that
and
is
Bengali would be crazy.
switch my body back over from burning
They just
fat
crush everything,
to burning sugar.
rip everything in the garden.
Yeah. Well, there might be something we can
Like Mad Cow, not angry cow. Crazy cow.
Yeah, but we're in front of you.
I eat nuts.
Read about that?
Eat nuts too.
We got
These
fruit.
two cows are standing
Be
there.
careful with
There's a farmer
cashews.
on the ground, and they're like cussing them out. So you haven't said anything yet.
I don't trust those people who do those disgusting things.
That's some of the stuff that are cartoons.
So if I had some items that have evil in them that need to be destroyed,
So we're trying
and
to.
never return to the people who seek them,
thing, right?
you guys had a
Yeah, that's the
you
one
doing
thing.
that.
It says that it's going to be you and
Life is hard.
It's
Maybe
crazy.
just throw them in the dumpster.
Most places should be using the break phone and, shit sheet on top. That's funny. It doesn't mean crazy,
Yeah,
such
sure.
cheap, crazy, such cheap.
There's a part of me
Well,
that's said
That's
Where's
the
long
magic.
hay?
Or you could take them to Fiesta Island and burn them.
Yeah, both long eggs
So,
and then hot tea mate.
I did
both
this
long eggs.
before.
So that's what
Yeah,
I was saying.
I don't
So,
think that the amount of the book.
Put
Well,
somebody's
in-
evil
in-
into an item, crushed it
Well,
up,
that's McDonald's.
threw it in the
Yeah,
trash.
that's what I mean, in McDonald's.
And then it went-
I gotta concentrate.
The way I wrote it, the way I said it, the stuff was supposed to rot in the dump.
No, I'm good.
Never come out.
Well, you could burn it.
And then the people went to the dump and found it.
Yeah, you could burn it. That's what I'm saying. Go to Fiesta Island, burn it.
Yeah,
Burn it.
that's the way to do it. And they won't be able to recover it from the ashes.
Fire is special power.
It was 2 nights
Well, that seems
ago.
to be it, so.
Okay.
I was playing the Krishna music on Pandora,
Ah,
and
you know.
Oh, they're gonna send it to you.
Yes.
You're gonna put it in.
No, that's, yeah, we're talking,
Yeah,
well, I mean,
all the
since
stuff
I'm here,
was that I
carrots.
seized and put
Yeah, I
it
can only
in.
find mata meaning crazy and thankfully I don't see it.
Yeah, it's one of those things,
that
was that just a dream?
Word for word for mata.
And I don't expect you to have that answer, but
They're trying to
think
avoid,
about
I'm doing what I actually do, see? You know,
I-
give out these things.
I didn't think I had any.
It's done.
any,
See,
I know that mine's
recently I tried to
Yeah.
do something, I forget what it was, and they listed all the
Except what
iPods,
real,
iPads, and iPhones
real is
that I put
Right.
stuff on, and these are mine, so I gave them mine.
that's why I keep saying my mind's tangled.
With the chanting,
$45.
it untangles the mind.
Yeah.
And we can know what is a dream, what is real and not.
You bet you have to.
You put it on here.
What is a dream for
Yeah,
real and what is
that's what-
real for a dream. That's
That's what-
what chanting clears the mind,
All the books.
untangles the knot.
Well, I ordered one of those $10.
I've been
They first came out.
chanting.
And so this is
Going around. This morning I just woke up at 11
and
couldn't get back to sleep, and
I realized that
I've not sleeping good lately,
So
so
I only paid $10.
I started chanting, and I don't know if it's the evil that's been
Beta
trying to
base on
overcome me,
Apple
or
phones.
if it was just that the chanting was really working, but I got to about,
I mean, I didn't really use it.
Doesn't have to be like that, but just,
It has
yeah.
beta base, and it has all the but basically you can't do the
Are you
bookmark
supposed to
features
pray on
the
that
same
beat?
way as you can on.
Oh,
So basically it
really?
makes it like,
skip that one.
I didn't know they even had it. I think it's, you're not just talking about the pipe base.
no, but it's, yeah, beta base, but it's just.
I thought I was told that in the past,
But
but
it's just the bookmarks don't work.
Yeah,
That was
that's
convenient, thought it was the bookmarks. So basically you can make bookmarks, you can't update.
You know, I know,
So you
I
make
can
new
write to
bookmarks.
guys. I can write to the board. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, see, I can make bookmarks, but I can't update them.
You got your stuff here.
Every single time you want to do it, you make a new one. As far as I can tell, I can't find it. It might
Well,
Well, some books.
yeah. Well, I got the chanting for happiness.
The Bhagavad Gita. Yeah, that's a good one. Damodar could give you the Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah. Well, you know what happened, because when we first created this, I told him about that. And he updated it so that you can set the bookmarks on Facebook.
Oh, okay.
And also, you couldn't get rid of the highlighters, you know. You make a
Have you
highlight.
ever read this?
Yeah, my shoes are up there.
If you make a, let me check that. Press this highlight over here. See if you can highlight.
Well, actually, that's the thing, you can't have it.
You can't have it. No.
Because that's the thing, is if I would go there for Data Critics and I can't copy and paste it from to go find it somewhere else.
Yeah.
It's about
I think he's a little disappointed because he probably realized the road was sharing and something.
Yeah.
The upgrade that I got was like years and years ago. You can use some more, search feature, especially if you try to restrict the scope of the search, then we can talk.
Just on the mobile app, not on the online. Even on.
No, I'm just talking about the database on the iPad, the phone. Even that's some languages could be fixed. So did that take you, man? The Google actually help?
Well, a little bit, but still not so. But I haven't. Well, kind of not quite.
I kind of noticed some things that seem to be the standard.
Oh yeah, I kind of got a little more change.
Down twice, up,
Right,
go
yeah.
up, down, and up.
Yeah.
Somewhere along the way, I learned that, like if you hear, I think it was Vaisheshika Prabhu, I heard him give one time I used to go to that festival and listen down for inspiration. He said stop. And he led one morning, and I noticed that every verse he went down, for the Guru Maharaj, and eventually went up to Krishna, which I think it's a rule, but the emphasis on the downside. I've heard that before.
Wait, so I'm confused. What did you do? You went to every single.
So every time every verse, it was that melody. He didn't go up.
Okay, so you never did Shri Radhika, and you never did even.
If I recall, I made it, or if he did, he maybe just did it once. In other words, he was really emphasizing the downside.
And you're saying maybe because he thought he saw that as like a certain standard, so.
Yeah, I'm not sure where that's coming from, but I've kind of heard over the years these things. I forget where I heard it. That's probably referred to down rather than up. And I was in Malacha one time, and this one devotee was saying every verse was up. And I think, that's definitely not right. But I kind of like this, a healthy mix, and not forgetting the tendency to devotees have sometimes you get the first couple ones down and all the others up. But that's not right.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare